What's up? I'm back. It seemed like it's gonna I'm doing Avengers PR for them, right? But this is gonna be my Avengers Decoded. It's gonna be short. I thought the movie was cool. I'm gonna have a separate video, but just what I thought about the movie from an entertainment aspect. But from the decoding aspect, I thought it was cool. Um, you know, Many people have done the technology stuff before. I like the spin that they had on it though, where when I said the technology, X Men had the Sentinels, and we've had Matrix movies and Terminator movies where the evil robot people try to conquer. But I found it interesting in a sense is the fact that on one level, Ultron versus the Avengers was basically the Avengers was symbolic of people who, not that they did, but just the symbolism of it, were people who transformed spiritually and acquired supernatural gifts, and those people will come in direct contact with people who worship technology, right? Now, the thing that was interesting about the movie was Ultron. There was hints that he wanted to become more organic-like, not totally organic, but more organic-like, because the real essence of the movie was that people don't really realize the human body really is the most advanced technology on the planet. So, because the human body is the most advanced technology on the planet, one big secret is even machines know that. Like if you go into the consciousness of machines, and if you're a type of person who believes in that, if they do have consciousness, they would know that. If they do have consciousness. And Ultron definitely believed in that. And that's what he fought for. And it was interesting because even when the movie ended and you kind of got the new Avengers feel, right? The new Avengers feel was interesting because they were less powerful than the old Avengers, obviously. Even Captain America said they're not the 1927 Yankees, right? Which is, if you know baseball, a great team. Well, the crazy part of it is that that's kind of how it is. Like how that's symbolism of another thing, or something on a higher level where most people don't even realize that. Yeah, at first, the new gods, as they say, right? Because some people sometimes write me and they would ask about, like this is spiritual stuff, but they would ask about God forms and which God form to do this, and what God shall use to do this, and what religion is supposed to do this. In the new age to come, there isn't not going to be any religion, to be honest. God is mental, right? God is something like is a high octave frequency in you, right? That you can only hear, that you can only feel when you're transformed. And on the surface, the new Avengers, which was much weaker on the surface, was symbolic of the fact that they seem a lot weaker than the old Avengers, if you're just looking at superficial reasons. But think of it. In the movie, we're not talking the comics, but in the movie, Vision could pick up Thor's hammer. Scarlet Witch, when her brother Quicksilver was there, they beat the whole team. So when we say, and then Iron Man, okay, War Machine doesn't have the ingenious as Iron Man does, but in theory he has the same abilities as Iron Man does. So when you're looking at the new Avengers, and then you're not looking at it as obviously you're gonna probably add Ant-Man and Spider-Man to that lineup of new Avengers. So when you look at them from a certain angle, in some ways, they're kind of a slight upgrade, to be honest. If you think of it from a total angle, it's an upgrade, but without the flaws. It's kind of symbolic of a system with no gods, or when the human being realizes that they have to take on divine responsibility, to be honest. And that's one of the hints that Avengers had in the movie, where sometimes people don't really realize, and this is what happens when you get into spiritual information, particularly on YouTube. Some people think they could just give everyone information. Give everyone information. Information is free. There should be no secrets. But the initiate knows the people in question have to earn their secret. Have to earn. The human being, the human race, has to earn the gift. They haven't done it yet with their behavior. If you look at how they treat animals, look at how they treat nature, look at how they treat each other. The human race as a collective haven't earned that responsibility. So when you look at Ultron, Ultron wasn't really as bad as people think. His means were bad. But he was right when he said that people haven't earned that gift of having heroes, right? Of having abilities, of having access to divine knowledge. They have to earn it. And when you look at it from that angle, you realize that, in a sense, the new Avengers were actually characters that were less flawed. Iron Man, kind of crazy, kind of narcissistic. War Machine, not an upgrade in terms of genius, obviously, but in terms of as a person, better person. Vision, in some ways, is an upgrade over Thor. When you think of it from a certain angle, right? Scarlet Witch is nuts. She's not as smart as Hulk. Maybe not overtly as powerful as Hulk, but she probably has more potential. Hulk is kind of damaged goods. So when you look at it, and then that's not counting Spider-Man and Ant-Man. I'm not sure how they're going to depict Ant-Man. I know he's a thief. But Spider-Man is Spider-Man. He's a cool dude. So when you look at when we say new gods, you could look at it as new gods, or you could look at it, or the new Avengers in this case, or you could look at it as humans who have divine responsibility. And that's why Spider-Man is going to be an Avenger, and what does he say? With great power comes great responsibility. That's kind of what the new Avengers represented. Gods that are more human, but more potential than the old gods. And so much potential that they stopped using the word gods and they just started connecting to the divinity. So when the Christian says only one God, there was some truth to that. New age to come, other than the source, yeah, everyone else is going to be able to, should be able to, or has the potential to access the divine in them. And then it becomes more about their own work, which would be prove the divinity within themselves. Where in the old system, Stark, his father was around when Captain America's time was there, to be honest. You know what I mean? Thor is a god, right? Those characters already have even Captain America was from 1945. Like, those characters have an established pattern that at times may be too flawed to change, if that makes any sense. So the Avengers movie was speaking on many different levels that I don't think people really saw, to be honest. So, till next time, peace.